Good evening and welcome to the first in a series of talks by this year's Humanitas Chair in Sustainability Sciences, Professor Paul Ferraro. My name's Andrew Bamford. I'm a conservation scientist in the zoology department and I'm your chair for tonight. Humanitas is a series of visiting professorships at Oxford and Cambridge and designed to bring leading academics, practitioners and scholars to both universities to address major themes in the arts, social sciences and the humanities. The programme is funded by the Weidenfeld-Hoffmann Trust with the support of a series of generous benefactors, and we're particularly grateful to the Tellus Martyr Foundation for their support for the Humanitas Chair in Sustainability Studies. The Humanitas events in Cambridge are run by the Centre for Research in the Arts, Social Sciences and Humanities, CRASH, and the Humanitas Chair in Sustainability Studies is organised in collaboration with the Cambridge Conservation Initiative and the University of Cambridge Conservation Research Institute. Cambridge Conservation Initiative is an extraordinary collaboration between the university and internationally focused biodiversity conservation organisations, many of which are now co-located in the David Attenborough building right above our heads, which is very exciting. And the University Conservation Research Institute is a university grouping of the academics working across disciplinary boundaries in that exciting new space. There are 3 public events associated with Professor Ferraro's visit to Cambridge as this year's Humanitas Chair. There's tonight's lecture. There's also a conservation-focused seminar tomorrow at 5 o'clock on assessing the effectiveness of protected areas. That's also here in the Babbage Lecture Theatre. And then there's a closing symposium on Friday, which will be in the David Attenborough building. And details of those events are on these flyers, which hopefully you've been given, and also on the CRASH website. So, turning to tonight's event, it's my pleasure to introduce Paul Ferraro. Paul is the Bloomberg Distinguished Professor of Business and Engineering at Johns Hopkins University. He's got a joint faculty appointment in the Whiting School of Engineering and the Carey Business School, and he's co-director of something called the Centre for Behavioural and Experimental Agri-Environmental Research. Paul is perhaps best known for his work on estimating the impacts of policy on the environment and on human welfare through using insights and techniques grounded in the behavioural sciences. And because these research areas are multidisciplinary and applied, he collaborates with scientists and engineers from a variety of social, natural and physical science disciplines, as well as with practitioners. Paul got his PhD from Cornell and is the winner of the 2010 Georgia State University Outstanding Faculty Achievement Award, a 2011-12 Fulbright Scholarship, the 2012 Cozzarelli Prize for an outstanding piece in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. But he's also extremely active in applying this academic excellence. He's been a Catherine Fuller Science for Nature Fund visiting scientist. He's a senior science fellow at the World Wildlife Fund, a former senior science advisor to the Global Environment Facility, and he's worked internationally on ecosystem management and economic development initiatives in Africa, in Latin America, and in the former Soviet Union. Please join me in welcoming Paul here tonight to talk about environmental problems are human problems. Paul.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you to everybody who's made this so far a great trip. It's been really well organized. I'm happy to be here in Cambridge. I came last year in March. I'm surprised you invited me back again, but I'm appreciative that you did. I mean, I think the invite actually came before I gave my lecture last March. But I love being at Cambridge. For those of you who are here all the time, I don't think you realize how special a place this is. As soon as I walk onto campus, I feel like my IQ has gone up 10 points. I know it's not real. It's a figment of my imagination, but it's just unbelievable how many people are working on this campus on environmental and sustainability issues. When I go back home, I'm going to be tearful that I'm back in a place where there's many, many fewer that are working on those issues. All right, so for my talk tonight, I'm going to start with a really risky opening gambit. Audience participation with technology, with your cell phones. So you're taking out your cell phones. Hopefully you remember to turn the ringer off after we're done. So what I want you to do is I want you to text to that London phone number, to 020-3322-5822, In the message, you're just going to type my name. It doesn't have to be capital letters, and I'm not a narcissist. It's just what the program, it says poll anywhere. It's a software program, not going to spam you, not going to charge you. It's easy to leave the session once we're done here. But you're just going to text Paul Ferraro 680 to that phone number. And they'll send you a message saying you have joined the session, and if you want to leave, you just type in leave. Don't type in leave yet until after the talk. All right, so just do that. And while you're doing that, or after you've done it, you're waiting for the reply, everybody has a small slip of paper that you should have gotten when you came in about a strange American disease that's coming to the UK called Trumperosis nefarious. And I want you to read that if you haven't read it already, and it's going to ask you to make a choice about a program to address this particular disease. I'll give you just a little bit of time to read it. The phone number's up there again if you haven't got it. So, yes?
I have no signal.
No signal in here? Is there anybody else having that problem? We'll see. Let's see if enough people have it. If not, I will improvise. We'll just do show of hands like old-fashioned. But what I want to, half of you are facing the choice between program A or B. Another half of you approximately are facing a choice between program C or D. And what I want you to do is your decision. You've got to choose which program you prefer. And I just want you to text it. Well, you're doing this. Wait, just like my students. You're not waiting for me to give you the instructions. Text your answer, either A or B. Just text the letter A or type the letter B or C or D. And we'll see what we get. All right, so changing up and up. There. I don't want to labor too long, but we had about a third going for A, or 2/3, because it's half of it. So the majority were going for A, who had the choice between A or B, and the majority were going for D, who had the choice between C or D. So up here, everybody had the same thing at the top, right? That you're